Well, let's continue our discussion now of last night's results. Robert Fife is the Ottawa Bureau Chief for the Globe and Mail, Tonda MacCharles, the Ottawa Bureau Chief for the Toronto Star, and Joël-Denis Bellavance, the Ottawa Bureau Chief for La Presse. Hello to the three of you.
Hi there.
Hi, Michael.
Okay, so three bureau chiefs, great to have your perspective. What happened last night?
Well, the Liberals did not expect what happened last night. They honestly thought they were going to win a majority government and perhaps a comfortable majority government. And that did not happen. And why did that not happen? Well, the collapse of the NDP vote, everybody was assuming was going to go to the Liberals, just like it did with the Bloc Québécois in Quebec to the Liberals. But clearly, a large number of the NDP voters who are, I guess, union and working class people went to the Conservatives, and you see the numbers, particularly in southwestern Ontario, where the Conservatives just racked up victory after victory. The same thing in that whole Brampton area, which was quite a surprise, and that's less a working class area, but a very ethnic area, and the Conservatives have done pretty well there too. So what do we have here? We have Mr. Carney still being able to lead a government and carry on negotiations, because he's in a situation where brokerage politics is going to have to come into play. He can cut a deal with the Bloc Québécois on some issues, perhaps certainly will get the NDP on some other issues, and undoubtedly if it deals with liquefied natural gas or trade corridors or oil and gas pipelines, I'm assuming the Conservatives would support him. But this was a big surprise, and the pollsters were not wrong, because they showed the narrowing of the gap, which was quite large for a period of time between the Liberals and the Conservatives. But I think the seat projections were ones that sort of confounded everybody.
Yeah, confounded everybody. What would you add to that, Tonda?
Well, I think it was a big surprise to the Liberals, but the Conservatives I was speaking to in the lead up to the ballot counting were all holding out this possibility that in a lot of those tight races, the breaks would come to them. So I think it was less of a surprise to some of the Conservatives than it was to the Liberals. But it was a long night, and I think what it's left Canadians with, is this a parliament that's going to have difficulty working together, but has been sent a clear message by the electorate that that's the priority, get your acts together. Not any single leader persuaded Canadians that they deserved a majority government writ large. So I think Quebec had a huge influence. It wasn't just the split of the NDP support, because I think, yes, the Conservatives benefited more, to the surprise of everybody, than the Liberals in a certain respect. Not then the Liberals, but Quebec's fascinating. Its contribution to this minority. They won a ton of seats, right? We were just chatting about that.
Yeah,
so,
well, without Quebec, the Liberals would not be
Exactly.
government still, right? Mm-hmm. So when you look at what happened last night,
Well, 44 seats for the Liberal Party, that's the best results for the Liberal Party since Pierre Trudeau in 1980. So it's been a while, and it's somebody who's not a local boy and whose French was, criticized in the election, but Quebecers give him a pass because they were so anxious with the Trump threats that they rallied around the Liberal flag, the Liberal Party, and jumped ship from the Bloc Québécois, many of them from the Bloc Québécois to the Liberal Party. So that's a fascinating story. I think that will be studied for a long time. But the collapse, to me, also of the NDP vote that went to the Conservative Party in some regions, but to the Liberal Party in other regions is another major story. And already the NDP is saying that people borrowed our vote, we'll get them back. I think they're right, because the correct circumstances was there for the Liberal Party to take advantage of the current situation.
I mean, that's the question. Is there a home? What is the home for the Progressives? If Mark Carney's dragging his party kicking and screaming to the center right, where do the Progressives go now? And have we seen a complete shift in the dynamic of the country? I don't think. I don't think we have. But it's going to be interesting. That party is now leaderless. They don't have a lot of money.
No status
in the House of Commons. They don't have those resources now. And so even in terms of the Liberals trying to negotiate. Are they a strong negotiating partner? No, they actually have no leverage. So the Liberals might be wise to even try and pluck a few of them to say, here, I'll make you a minister in my government or something, you know?
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be a lot of interesting conversations over the next couple of weeks.
Interesting conversations,
Well, you know,
as you say.
Yves-François Blanchet. Sorry, I'm very tired. But he had an interesting news conference today because he was saying, look, we need to have stability in Parliament for at least a year because we have these very, very crucial negotiations going on with the Trump administration involving tariffs and security arrangements. And let's get together with the political parties and say, okay, let's allow these negotiations to go forward. Let's collaborate. Let's not get into political games of trying to defeat the government. Let's see if we can do this.
Let me jump in because
question?
I do because we're running out of time. But you know, to that point, you talk about the changing dynamic in terms of the way people vote. What about the changing dynamic in the House of Commons? If that's what Yves-François Blanchet is saying is needed, we're also looking at a House of Commons. Mr. Trudeau resigned in January. We now have Mr. Singh losing his seat. We now see Mr. Poilievre losing his seat. It's been such a toxic 2 years in the House of Commons. Now that leadership is wiped away, does the dynamic change in the House, do you think?
Well, I'm not sure how much it's going to change because guess what? Pierre Poilievre will be there unless the party gets rid of him. He's going to undoubtedly get somebody to step aside, and there will probably be a by-election over the summer, and he'll be back in the House of Commons when in the fall. And this is a guy that has shown no inclination ever to compromise or cooperate with anybody. So I'm not sure that that's going to happen. But nonetheless, the challenge here for Mr. Carney, who has never ever been in Parliament and has never had to be in a situation like this, is to practice brokerage politics. Can he cut a deal with the Bloc Québécois on one issue, or the NDP on another issue, or even the Conservatives on another issue, to be able to stay alive for a year or 2 years before we head into yet another election campaign?
I think he governs like he has a majority. He's got two weakened opposition parties up against him, and a Bloc Québécois leader who just offered him a truce and said, "I'll support you for a year. Just be nice on my Quebec issues." That's basically what he said. So I think that Carney would be wise to spend all whatever political capital he has right away to get the things done that he needs to do. And if that includes dragging his party to do the resource and energy sector developments he's promised, then now's the time, right?
Don't operate like you have a majority. Joe Clark tried that and he lost.
I mean, look, I've heard people say that today. So I'm just saying that it seems to me to be a consideration for them, and I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule out them moving quickly. He's made a big point of saying he's an action-oriented pragmatist, and let's face it, it'll be interesting to see. What's the makeup of his caucus too right now? I mean, there's a lot of the old Trudeau-era Liberals as well, but there are some new faces, and some new faces who will help him implement that agenda.
And we'll know very quickly if Mr. Carney is a good brokerage dealer. We'll have confident tests with a speech from the throne quickly, probably in end of May. A budget also that will be introduced. There will be a vote of confidence, and the supplementary spendings as well that have to be voted. So many tests on the table right away. So Mr. Carney, who's not a political operator of any sort, he's a technocrat more than anything else, will have the big test. But coming back to Yves-François Blanchet, if I may say quickly, I think he showed some maturity today, leadership maturity that I think will bode well for him in Quebec. That's the kind of language that Quebecers want to hear. No more fighting. We've got a crisis to deal with. Let's put the partisanship aside. And so he's already talking what Quebecers sent as a message to parliamentarians.
Well, even the premiers were talking like that today, which was quite uplifting in a way of saying, look, election is over. Let's work together on interprovincial trade barriers, and let's work together to deal with Donald Trump.
They're all making a virtue of necessity.
Well, and we'll see how that influences the Parliament. As you say, a busy schedule coming up the next few weeks. This is why we wear makeup and television, because we never get any rest. Listen, we're back on Friday. Bob, Tonda, Joël-Denis, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michael.